This $500 Shergold single cut is just as good as any Gibson Les Paul costing 3, 4 or even 5 times as much money. Or maybe that's just something a provocateur would say. Now I don't know anything about anything like that, of course, but this is the Shergold Provocateur Standard. And in this video what I want to do is take you through every angle and every musical facet of this affordable single cutaway electric guitar. And hopefully by the end, well, you'll know if you need to seek out and try a Shergold Provocateur Standard for yourself. Now timestamps to every different part of the video are going to be down there in the description and comments if you'd like to go somewhere specific first, but I'm going to kick things off now with the specs, the features and all of the info that you need to know about this guitar. Now the Shergold brand, it's a quirky, iconic sensation of a brand from the UK. It's been around for decades now, and for the last 10 or so years it's been revitalized under the ownership of Barnes Mullins, one of the most successful independent UK musical instrument distribution companies. And the newer Shergolds have been designed in the UK by no less than Patrick James Eggle himself. And that's a name that I'm sure you'll be familiar with, and because of that, well, we can expect big things from these newer Shergold guitars. And I have to say, I really was rather excited to get this one in and give it a thorough test here. I've seen the newer Shergold guitars round at trade shows over the past few years, and they look great. They're so quirky, they look familiar, but at the same time they look very different as well. So like I said, I've been very excited to get one of these in, and the kind folks at Music Vine who distribute these guitars in Germany, well, they've sent this one to me to make this video and a few more. So let's get on with those specs and features. Now, first glances, it does look to be very similar to a standard single cutaway in terms of design, but dig a little bit deeper and you start to see those individual unique design flourishes that really make this its own guitar. Now we've got a poplar body going on here, which really helps to make this nice and lightweight when it comes to a single cut, and we've got this one finished in dirty blonde, although you can also get it in mint green if you prefer. I happen to really like the dirty blonde here. I think it goes really nicely with the zebra covers on the humbuckers here. Looks great with the black scratch plate, and overall it's a pretty cool, classy sort of aesthetic. The big black scratch plate reminds me of something that you might see on a Telecaster Deluxe, and I love these zebra covered humbuckers here. Now they're Shergold's own humbuckers, and we've got something extra going on under the hood here as well. Standard 3-way selector switch, master volume and master tone control, but pull up the tone control and we split those humbuckers down to true single coils. So there should be a massive range of tones going on under the hood with this guitar. And for me personally, from my experience, I often think that when you split the humbuckers on a Les Paul type guitar, you get something that sounds rather similar to a Telecaster in terms of tones. So if this can give us great Tele and great Les Paul tones in one guitar for this price, well, I'll be very, very impressed indeed. Now, on that Tele theme, we've got a bridge here, a fixed bridge that reminds me a little bit of a cutaway ashtray sort of Telecaster style bridge. And if I move us around to the back, you can see that we've got a string through body design going on here. And the Provocateur Standard is also a bolt-on neck. That's something that you'd see on a Telecaster, for example, as opposed to the set neck that you'd see in a traditional Les Paul design. Now you can also see that we've got really decent upper fret access thanks to the bevels on the cutaway here. And there's a nice armrest going on the front of that poplar body as well. So that's the body of the Provocateur Standard, and moving up to the neck, we've got a solid Canadian roasted maple neck going on here, and that's fronted by a laurel fingerboard. Now the neck profile here, it's a lovely satin slinky Canadian roasted maple, really nice and dark, and it's a really nice chunky C in terms of profile. If you like your slightly larger necks, you'll really like this one. Now that laurel fingerboard is fronted by 22 medium jumbo hard nickel frets. We've got a 42.5mm nut going on here. The fingerboard radius is 12 inches, so nice and modern feeling, very familiar if you're into your Les Pauls. And the scale length is just a little bit shorter than your standard Les Paul. The scale length here is 625.5mm. That's 24.625 inches, and a standard Les Paul would be 24.75 inches. So there's not that much in it, but this is just a tiny bit shorter than the scale length that you get on a Les Paul, and obviously significantly shorter than the scale length on a Fender type of guitar. Moving up to the headstock, we've got the Shergold paddle sort of headstock design, which I think looks really rather nice, and we've got a set of their own locking tuners on the back there. So this is the Shergold Provocateur Standard. It'll set you back just less than $500 or euros, or even less in Great British pounds. Doesn't come with a gig bag or anything like that, but reading through those specs and hearing what we've got here, well, there should be a huge variety of tones and playability on offer with this guitar, and I'm very excited to plug this in and hear if we can get authentic humbucking tones and authentic authentic single coil tones too. And so what we need to do then is make some sounds with this guitar. Now my rig for today is going to be my Hughes & Kettner Black Spirit 200 amplifier with a selection of my favourite overdrive, distortion and fuzz pedals to spice things up. We'll kick things off with some really pristine clean tones, and we'll gradually add in some dirt courtesy of my Greer Lightspeed organic overdrive, my Crazy Tube Circuits heat seeker, my Kerner Moho fuzz and my Rev G3 high gain distortion pedal, and we'll go all the way up until we're down in drop D tuning, trying some proper modern metal on the Provocateur Standard. Like I said, if you'd like to skip to a specific part or a specific musical genre or style or anything like that, there are going to be timestamps down there. But let's make some noise with the Provocateur Standard now, and we'll speak in a bit more detail, and I'll give you a few of my own thorough opinions about this guitar afterwards. Okay then, so that was the Shergold Provocateur Standard, and I hope you enjoyed the playing, the riffs and the tones. And now it's your turn. Please leave me a comment down there telling me what you think of this guitar. Are you into this kind of unique take on the single cut that the Shergold Provocateur provides, or do you want something a bit more standard? As always, really appreciate your thoughts and your ideas, and let's get a bit of a discussion going. But now it's time for me to tell you my thoughts and opinions about this guitar. And like I let on in the intro, I've been really excited to try this one in a bit more detail. Now, I've tried numerous different Shergold guitars at trade shows over the past few years, along with Frank from Music Wine and Rob from Barnes Mullins as well, and they were very, very happy to get this guitar into my hands, and I was very, very happy to let them do so. My first impressions upon getting this one out of the box, well, I think it looks great. I really like this dirty blonde finish. The mint green one looks fantastic in the flesh as well, but I would be absolutely happy with either. And the aesthetic overall with this guitar is just one where I'd be inspired to pick it up and play it, and that's really a massive win straight from the off. Now, in terms of weight, this guitar passes my test as well. I like a guitar to be at about 8 pounds or under. This specific one weighs in at 3.33 kilograms, which is about 7 pounds 5. So very decent weight indeed, especially when we're talking about a single cut Les Paul style of design like this one, because those can often be very, very heavy. So my first impressions were very, very decent indeed. Then I picked up the guitar and started to look at the build quality and feel the neck as well. And in terms of the quality, in terms of the setup straight out of the box, well, this Provocateur is basically immaculate. The setup on the neck is great straight out of the box. The frets are really nice and smooth, have been crowned really well. The action and the intonation are spot on, just as I would like them. I can confirm, after having had this guitar and played it for a few weeks, the Shergold locking tuners do their job really well. The nut seems to have been cut really well. Everything down on the body is immaculate as well. No problems or issues with the electronics. The finish has been applied perfectly. So in terms of the build quality, in terms of the fit and the finish, this guitar is very, very strong indeed. And in terms of the playability, I love the Provocateur Standard as well. Now, it's a very ergonomic guitar, much lighter than many Les Pauls would be thanks to the poplar body here, and we've got decent upper fret access and a nice arm contour on the front of the body as well, so that makes it comfortable from that side. And the neck on this guitar is really a joy to play as well. It's a really nice chunky C shape, lovely satin finished Canadian roasted maple neck going on here. It really feels absolutely fantastic. I'm a big fan of medium jumbo frets. That's a nice classic feel for me. Of course, I would prefer a dark rosewood or ebony board, but the laurel board here does an admirable job. And when you're playing, well, if the board's not dry or anything like that, as this one isn't, it's not really affecting the playability in any way, shape or form. And adding to the playability, well, we've got this rock solid fixed bridge and the locking tuners here as well. So the guitar is a joy to play too. The other crucial thing that we need to talk about though is the tones. Now, we've got a pair of Shergold humbucking pickups here that you can split down to single coils as well, and I'm a huge fan of these pickups. Shergold tell us that they are a vintage voiced pair of Les Paul type humbuckers, and they do that thing really, really well. On the clean tones, you get lovely, smooth, mellow, jazzy sorts of tones with both pickups together, lovely arpeggios, great for strumming chords and so on. Split it down to single coil though, and you get a really nice twangy bridge, telly sort of a sound going on as well. So this guitar can cover any kind of tones on the clean channel. And adding in a bit of dirt, with the Greer we were doing some indie and alternative rock, perfect tones for that. Again, the bridge pickup is really mean whether you're on humbucking mode or coil split mode, but splitting it down you get an extra dose of clarity without sounding too thin. That's a great thing about the coil split on this guitar. It doesn't thin the tones out too much, and you don't have to mess around with the tone pot if you don't want to do that. Now, in terms of classic rock tones with the heat seeker pedal, we got some fabulous thick AC/DC and Hendrix sorts of sounds out of this guitar. And when I turned on the Kernan Moho Fuzz, we got some excellent garage rock and Jack White, White Stripes, Black Keys sorts of tones as well, and some great Smashing Pumpkins-y wall of noise sorts of sounds as well. Again, splitting down the humbuckers here for single coils gives you extra clarity and not too much noise, which is another string in the bow of the coil split on this guitar. Doing some harder rock stuff, this guitar excels at that. It's brilliant for 80s rock sorts of tones. And if you'd like, by the way, you need to watch the video that my good friend Jake Leigh has done with this guitar. Jake is a huge fan of 80s rock stuff, and in fact, I think he wants to tell you a little bit about this guitar himself.
Now, clearly you watch the Rich Words music channel here on YouTube, and that makes you a person of impeccable taste. I'm Jake, and I also have a YouTube channel which should hopefully be links down below. I talk to my friend Rich almost every single day, but weirdly enough, we both got these cool guitars from Shergold. Exactly the same model, same colour even, but neither of us knew the other one was getting it. So, as I'm sure Rich has already explained, we thought it'd be a cool thing to release our videos at the same time. We haven't discussed our thoughts on the guitars, so by watching both of our videos, you can hopefully see how our views and experiences differ, and it should give you a clearer idea of what you can expect if you decide to get one of these guitars. If you do want to check out my video, it'll be less informative than Rich's. We'll have less varieties of style, definitely less fuzz pedals, but at least 10 times as many pinch harmonics, possibly the occasional sweep pick and arpeggio. In all seriousness, I approach this from a more hard rock angle, 80s rock, new metal, early 2000s sounding drop-tuned riffs. So if that sounds interesting, then please check out my video, but not before finishing Rich's video, of course, and giving him a well-deserved like, please. Thank you so much, and thank you, Rich.
So make sure you give Jake's video a watch after this if you want to hear this guitar being put through its paces in a wide variety of 80s rock and lead guitar sorts of styles. Jake's videos are great, sub to his channel if you haven't. But yeah, back to my video. This is great for hard rock sorts of stuff. And when we plugged in the Rev G3 and we did some drop D metal sounds, well again, amazing tones out of this guitar. I love a Les Paul style humbucker for my metal tones, and the Shergold bridge humbucker in this guitar is just perfect for that. Great amounts of low end, huge chugs are available to be had with this guitar whenever you need them. And if you just want a tick more clarity, well, split that coil down again, and the string separation and the clearness of all 6 strings on huge distorted chords is exceptional with this guitar. These Shergold pickups sound fantastic, and they make this guitar a truly versatile all-rounder. And it does kind of do that thing where it sounds like a genuine Les Paul on full humbucking mode, and it sounds a bit like a Telecaster when you split it down to single coil modes as well. So you can kind of do everything with this guitar, and you can do it authentically as well. And I would challenge you not to be able to find a series of great sounds with this guitar. So I love it in terms of the tones, I love it in terms of the playability and the way it looks as well. But if you've been watching this video and you're kind of wondering what else could be out there, well, if you like this Shergold quirkiness, you need to try a Shergold guitar. Now this Provocateur is fantastic. However, if you want to go a little bit more exclusive, a couple of years ago they released a version of the Provocateur which I think is now discontinued, but you can probably find in some stores or maybe used, which was kind of a level up in certain ways. It had a mahogany body and a mahogany neck as opposed to poplar and roasted maple here, and it had an ebony board as opposed to laurel, and it had a pair of Seymour Duncan pickups in it, either a pair of 59 humbuckers or a humbucker in the bridge and a Seymour Duncan P90 in the neck. Those are exquisite guitars in every way, and of course they're going to cost you more money than this, but if you'd like to go for the classic mahogany tone woods, and if you'd like to go for true USA made Seymour Duncan pickups, well, you can do that if you'd like to as well. So good luck searching down one of those if you ever get the chance. Or if you want to stay with the other designs from Shergold, they have the double cutaway Masquerader, which is a great unique guitar, and they have the more Cabronita Tele flavored really fun guitar that is the Telstar, and that's available in bass format as well. And hopefully there are going to be videos of both of those models coming on my channel at some point in the future. But if you wanted to move away from the Shergold brand at your own peril, well, you could do that. You could try something like a high-end Epiphone Les Paul, or maybe a used Gibson Les Paul Tribute or a used Les Paul Studio. That's going to give you something like the quality levels that you might expect with the Shergold here. And if you wanted to do the single coil Telecaster thing, well, that's a totally different kettle of fish, but the world is your oyster when it comes to Telecaster type guitars. Now, if you want some more out of the box sort of recommendations, you could try something like a Telecaster Deluxe. If you find a used one, you could try something like a PRSE single cut with a pair of humbuckers. Those are fantastic guitars as well. Or if you want something a bit quirky, a bit different, which looks a little bit like other guitars, but is resolutely its own thing with its own vibe, I can't say a bad word about the wondrous beast that is the Yamaha Revstar. You're going to get similarly priced ones in the form of the Revstar Element, or you could pay a bit more for something like the Revstar Standard, but those are wonderful guitars as well, which have a kind of similar, totally unique vibe to them in the same vein as something like the Provocateur Standard. At the end of the day though, this guitar blew me away. I'm a huge fan of it. It looks fantastic. It plays wonderfully. I absolutely love the chunky neck on this thing. It's a really nice ergonomic beast of a guitar as well. It sounds wonderful thanks to these Shergold pickups, and it's so versatile. The only thing that I would change about this guitar, if I could, would be that I'd stick a rosewood or an ebony board onto the front of it. And you know, maybe if I could get the version with the Seymour Duncan pickups, I'd try what those sounded like. But to be honest, I really don't think you need them. The Shergolds in this one sound so good, they will cover you for 100% of what you need to do. So I've said many great words about this guitar, but it really is a sleeper hit of a guitar, massively under the radar, but absolutely try one of these out if you ever get the chance. Watch Jake Leigh's video if you haven't done that already, and if you have any more questions about this guitar, well, let me know down there in the comments and I shall do my best to answer you. And if you're still around, would really make my day if you want to give the video a like, or maybe even sub to my channel, because that really does help. But that's been it for today. I've been Rich, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.